Now, you know, if MSNBC says this, you're really in trouble. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about MSNBC throwing the Democratic Senate candidate from Pennsylvania, John Fetterman, under the proverbial bus. Now, this is not just because he has a spotty track record in his past as a mayor in the Pittsburgh area, the whole unarmed black male with the shotgun and vandalizing the club sign. It's not because of that. It's not because of his policy issues. It's because he had a stroke in May of 2022, this year. Recently, he had a stroke, and he may have died as a result of the stroke. Okay, he's lucky to even be with us. MSNBC are saying, hey, he has some serious problems. We had to make some kind of adjustments during the interview to accommodate his medical problems. Now, they're not trying to damage his career. They're not trying to damage his campaign. But at a certain point, they're just pointing out the obvious. We see that there's some kind of monitor right there. We hear him talking and it doesn't make any sense. So you can't hide the obvious from us. If there's an elephant in the room and I pointed it out, am I throwing the elephant under the bus? Or am I just saying, hey, there's a big elephant right here. You don't see it? It's right in front of your face. You can't see that gigantic 18-ton elephant. And before I go any further, let's go ahead and get into the video. There's a clip in full without my commentary in the description box, but let's go ahead and roll the clip right now.
We had a monitor set up so that he could read my questions because he still has lingering auditory processing issues as a result of the stroke, which means he has a hard time understanding what he's hearing. Now, once he reads the question, he's able to understand. You'll hear he also still.
Look at this. So what you see on the screen right now, there's some kind of iMac right here, right in front of him, while she's speaking to him on the other side of the computer. So as she's speaking, whatever she's saying into her microphone right there, her lapel mic is being is being closed captioned in real time right there on the monitor. So he's talking to her, but watching the screen to see what she's saying, because when she's talking to him, he can't really process the speech very well. He has to read it to process it. See, that's a brain problem right there. And if you're going to be a senator, that's pretty alarming if you have that kind of issue. That's very alarming. How are you going to be in any kind of meeting? How are you really going to be at work in D.C. if you cannot talk to somebody directly without having some kind of translator right there on the spot?
Has some problems, some challenges with.
See, you see his eyes? They're kind of like darting over there because he's reading what she's saying rather than listening to her intently.
With speech. And I'll say, Katie, that just in some of the small talk prior to the interview, before the closed captioning was up and running, it did seem that he had a hard time understanding our conversations.
That's pretty rough. So, I mean, the last part right there, she could have actually kept, because when you're talking about, if it was just about the closed captioning, it should have been about that. Now, I'm not trying to defend Fetterman. Don't misunderstand me. I'm just saying, I think they have to really just point out that this guy cannot really understand people when they're talking to him. They have to point that out. They got to just be honest with that. And I think they're trying to be a little bit honest over at MSNBC for once. And that's pretty surprising. That's actually very surprising. I'm looking over here right now, and there's a few more videos that kind of give you an idea of how Fetterman sounds. And this is not me trying to make fun of him. I'm not trying to make light of him having a stroke. I wish he would be able to get some medical treatment and not be out on the campaign trail. These Democrats have no sympathy. I'm going to come back for a minute. They have zero sympathy, no empathy. I mean, they know Joe Biden is pretty much a husk just walking around, and he has no life in him really, but they're going to put him out there regardless. Why? Because he had the best chance to be able to win because of the Barack Obama connection, the name that he is linked to. That's the reason why they put him out there to become the Democratic presidential nominee in 2020. That's the only reason. If not for that, they wouldn't have put him out there. And they know that he's not really there. It's the same thing going on with him. Now, the compassionate thing would be, let you stay at the house, get some rest, and not run. But they want that seat so badly. They want that power so badly. They put all this money behind them, and they supported him to this point. So it was like, you know what? Might as well go through with it. Yeah, he had a stroke, and no, he can't really hear you when you speak to him right in front of his face, and you got to have some kind of translator right there. You got to have closed captioning in real life so he's able to communicate. But don't worry about that. He'll be able to actually succeed in the Senate. Now, he might mess around and die in the Senate. Hopefully he doesn't, knock on wood. Hopefully he survives, but he could die in the Senate. They don't care about that. As long as they get that seat and they keep that power, that's all they're concerned about. And that's pretty gross if you ask me. But there's more videos here that'll give you an idea of how Fetterman is sounding right now and why it doesn't make any sense to vote him to be in the Senate, because if you can't even communicate just basic stuff to people, like you could read some things and say that, but if you have a hard time doing that and you're having a hard time answering basic questions without some kind of technology assistance, you're going to have a hard time being in DC. So let's go ahead and go to this first one here. So the sound is on. He's trying to collect his thoughts. He's trying.
It's such the most important race for the Senate here for 22. We have to replace Pat Toomey. Senator Toomey was not very nice to me. Pat Toomey is a miracle.
Is not making any sense. This is shameful. The Democrats ought to be shaming themselves, putting this man out there on the campaign trail, knowing he's not well. It's obvious that he's not well. Why put him out there on the campaign trail? So here's more.
Eliminate the filibuster. Yeah! Get things done. Yeah. Send us back to New Jersey. Yes. Send me to DC for you.
So Jersey, he's from Pennsylvania. So Jersey, what's that got to do with Pennsylvania? I'm not really sure. And then that's the whole Fetterwoman thing, the famous Fetterwoman thing. So here's the thing about the Eagles, just a random little stuff like this. One-liners, you're having a hard time being able to deliver.
And the Eagles are so much better than the Eagles. No.
I mean, come on. So that's another one of those. Oh, here's the last one. This is more recent.
And first, I just wanted to check in and see how you're feeling and how you're doing.
I'm doing fantastic, and it's not about kicking balls in the authority or anything.
And first,
I mean, like I said, I'm not trying to make fun of Mr. Fetterman, John Fetterman, Fetterwoman. I ain't trying to make fun of him for having a stroke. I'm just saying, like, it's clear that he's not well. And the Democrats don't really care about your well-being. You know, they say that they're so altruistic and compassionate and caring and empathetic, but I can't tell. This man needs medical attention right now, medical care right now. You got him out there on the campaign trail and want him to have a job in the Senate for, what's that, 4 to 6 years? This is craziness. This is madness. He shouldn't be there right now. He should be at the house hanging out with his youngins. That should be what's going on. But unfortunately, they got him out there running for Senate. And even MSNBC would want to support him and hide that he's going through his challenges, but they can't. They can't hide it. They see the monitor right there. They see him looking off to the side, so they can't even really disguise it. They got to say, okay, this is what's going on. They got to be transparent, because if they're not transparent, people are going to start to ask questions like, hey, why was looking off to the side? Why was looking at the monitor? What's going on with the conversation? It didn't make any sense. They're going to question them and their validity and their impartiality when it comes to Democratic candidates. Now, as I close, I want to say this. Shout out to the Senate race out there in Pennsylvania. Hopefully it ends appropriately with Dr. Oz winning. Is he a fantastic, excellent, one in a million candidate? No. But who is? I mean, seriously, who is? Find me the perfect candidate. I'll find you Jesus Christ on planet Earth. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about MSNBC throwing, quote unquote, throwing Fetterman under the proverbial bus. Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys pretty much know where I'm at. At a certain point, like I said, they can't hide it. We all see what's going on. You just point out the obvious. Point it out, because if you don't, we will. Then you're going to look bad as an organization, MSNBC. So they pretty much got out in front of it and let us all know what we see. We're not crazy. Our eyes and ears do not deceive us. We know what's going on. And hopefully he does not win and he's able to get medical treatment. You know, I'm no Democrat. I don't like policies of the Democrats. But it's not even about that. It's about, first and foremost, people's health. That's what really makes a difference. Same thing with Joe Biden. They got him out there running, but it's like, meanwhile, you need a whole nurse in a nursing home to get you back to health. Focus on that rather than politics. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.